And it's not like you recognize that. It's the person around you. They can only see, hey, something is different than before. How you speak, how you walk, how you talk is totally different, and that is only because it's an internal cleansing process what you go through.
One that was really interesting for me that we also covered in the 100-day Qigong, like the sexual transmutation that we also talk about. I don't think many people really realize how impactful that is. Even, there are these like boxers or fighters, and it's been kind of a myth, like to not do, for example, any kind of sexual intercourse, no like masturbation, anything like before your fight. And people are like, sometimes like, does it really work? Like there's no evidence for it, anything. And it really started to make sense quite a bit, like learning Qigong, even before that.
And I also am very happy and glad to see that there are people in the martial art community. They already say, yes, Master Jiang Yu Shan, I know I want to have more of the abilities, and it is too less what I already receive. So I'll have students from different kind of fields, from the Wing Chun area, from the boxing area, from the Shaolin area, that they fight or fought their own ego only to reach a different level. And that I'm already very happy for, because I can see the potential of each my student, what I already opened my arm for. I can see that kind of potential of each master, because who are approaching me are actually high-level masters in the martial art community. But there is still something where we can learn. There is still room to improve, not only for them, also for me. There's a lot of room for us to improve our own, and also strive for the best, and strive for the good result, for, I would say, not only for myself, not only for my own ego. It is when I have a lot, I can give also a lot. That means we need to do also our point, and also our place in mind, our place in the earth need to be positioned very well, because we are now the masters of that generation. The old masters are already gone. We have the responsibility to help others with our methods. That is
I think actually like you explained, this sort of humbling yourself is often one of the most important part in actually improving yourself. Like being able to make yourself sort of like figuratively like low is actually a way to make yourself much higher. Because if there's that sort of big ego or something, like you think maybe you practice for decades, for many years, your way of Qigong or your way of Kung Fu, and then you notice that it actually is not complete, or there's something lacking, you might want to actually deny that altogether and not even maybe learn the more stuff. But being able then, like even despite all of what you've gone through, all your experience, all your, whatever degrees you have, to just take a step back and realize that there's actually a lot to learn. I always notice that, like in many scenarios, many contexts, like that's a way to really step forward. And what I really like about what we have brought to the table, because when we first came to you, like to learn, we were just interested, for example, the hardening, just because we had seen like your massive hands and everything. It's just like, okay, this is what we want. We want to experience this pain and all of that. But like I couldn't imagine really how rich the world of Qigong was. That was really eye-opening experience for me, is that there was so many different aspects. Like we've already talked about how many different sectors of life it actually includes. Like from the exercise, exercise is just the one part. You have the hardened exercise, then you have the soft exercise, you have the hard exercise, you have the actual like heart and bone exercise, then you have you have sleeping patterns, you have these healing patterns, you have the Chinese medicine there. There's so many different things that came to it that I was just kind of like blown away by that, and which is also why we pretty much wanted to even learn from you, because we realized that there was just so much there, and we could get like a really authentic view on things, not just what like this one thing that by itself it doesn't even work really that well. And that was really amazing. And even like talking back about when we talk about this, like the hormonal stuff being able to affect there, one that was really interesting for me that we also covered in the 100-day Qigong, like the sexual transmutation that we also talk about, which also I don't think many people really realize how impactful that is. Like we did talk about that like a little while ago a bit, but I think that's also a subject that many are really interested in, because even there are these like boxers or fighters, and it's been kind of a myth like to not do, for example, any kind of sexual intercourse, no like masturbation or anything like before your fight. And people are like sometimes like, does it really work? Like there's no evidence for it, anything. And it really started to make sense quite a bit, like learning Qigong. And even before that, like after like stopping all kinds of pornography and everything, like over like something like 4 years ago, it just started to make so much sense. And I think that's also one of the most crucial aspects in this one, part of the bigger picture in the transformation that Qigong can really cause for the body, together with the diet changes and everything else. But it's not, some people think it's like complete celibacy or something. It's not like that. It's just like having like a bit of self-control over your actions.
It actually, it is not controlling. It is actually mastering.
Control is the wrong word. I think it's not the best.
It is actually mastering your fear, mastering your desires. Yeah. It is actually you are actually the master of different kind of emotions. The emotions still arise, but you need to know, and you learn automatically how to deal with yourself. Okay. And the thing is, when you are a person, you have that kind of vulgar speak habit. When you speak, there's always a kind of F word. There's always a kind of word. It will disappear. There is no the way how you speak will already change. Not artificial. It will change automatically, because what you speak out, it's actually a dirty language, and your mind change into a cleaner mind. It will calm yourself down. By calming yourself down, it will also clean the way of your thinking. It will also clean the way of your speaking. It will also clean the way of your behavior. And when you say, are you not watching porn anymore? Because it is changing naturally. And these kind of things, that is actually quite very astonishing. The more you practice, the deeper you go, you change yourself, you change your habits automatically. And it's not like you recognize that. It's the person around you. They can only see, hey, something is different than before. How you speak, how you walk, how you talk is totally different, and that is only because it's an internal cleansing process what you go through. And if you, for example, you are in that kind of environment where you say, I want to change it, then I only can say the deep breath will help you. And that's why we have this kind of breath of mental power, which when you practice that correctly will help you to clean your mental state. That is very, very important, people, that you can't neglect that, and you need to be very attentive what actually really happened with you. You learn the breathing, you learn how to develop a clean imagination, because imagination is also, it's also, I would say, a sword, yeah, a very, very edged sword where you can fall into deep imagination, where you already start to develop too much fantasy in the Qigong world, or you have the kind of different kind of imagination where you're still standing fully with the feet on the ground and you're not in the fantasy world anymore, but you develop an imagination. For example, when you are doing the arts, you will develop different kind of artwork. For example, I have friends, they are painters. I have friends, they are actually in different kind of art professionals inside. They're approaching now their work in a totally different way, where there is no frost, there is no bad feelings, that they actually can be very creative. And the power of breathing and imagination is very crucial.
Yeah, if you think about like how big of an impact it makes if you don't get like oxygen enough in your brain, thinking like you need to do creative work, like you need to have energy to like maintain energy to do something for a long period of time, and you're not breathing even properly. I think the breath is still like out of almost all of the stuff, you know, which are incredible. I think that's probably one of the most incredible and something that I use pretty much like every single day. The breath of mental power is in some ways or some form like part of things, because just open up a lot of the sort of breathing capacity. And I know there's still like people who even go to do Qigong and they just don't have the breathing in there. It feels much more like emptier to go through any form if you don't have that underlying capacity there to really. And I've noticed even in myself, like sometimes before I have like some big task or anything, and if I'm feeling a bit like just eyes are like tired and everything, and do like 5 minutes of breathing, and what a difference does that make? It's incredible. You just feel alert almost immediately. And like we're talking about the hormones and everything, you know, the breathing is one of the main factors that, you know, controls our nervous system. Like the sympathetic system, it can like agitate us, bring us really alert, like increase adrenaline, or by doing it can really calm us down. Like this would I've noticed so many times.
It is not only the breathing, it is also the understanding of different principles which are incorporated in different aspects. When you practice, for example, the Bagua Zhang, you need to understand the principles in the Bagua Zhang. When you practice, for example, the Shisui Jing, you need to understand the principles, what are already written and given from other masters before. From the Shisui Jing, the principles you need to understand, and you need to understand the principles and how to approach the I Ching Jing. And when you understand these kind of things, the principles, there are some kinds of poems what people are describing and also try to give to the next generation. Yeah, there are movements inside, and mostly in the books what we receive, or what I receive. There are written words inside. They will help you to think about and also to approach the Qigong, Neigong pattern in a totally different way. Because people also need to understand breathing technique is good. Now we need to put also the work in it, and we need to know how to move and how to move our body. And before we learn how to move our body, we need to be very clear how our mind is in what kind of state. So use your mind, to develop kind of energy, and use the energy to move your body. That is a statement that not only I develop or I say, that it is a statement which already derived from ancient times. Okay?
It's a long heritage. Yeah.
Yes. So that is also a very deep mind intent development. It is very necessary that we approach that.